With this short video, I'd like to show you how you can use your calculator to solve simple quadratic equations. Again, make sure that your calculator is set to normal mode and recognize that a quadratic equation has the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So in other words, with a quadratic equation, we have an x squared term. We may or may not have an x term or a constant, but we always have an x squared term at least. And all quadratic equations have two solutions. It could be that the two solutions are two real solutions, or alternately they could be two complex solutions. Again, we will set our calculator to find the right mode. So we're going to select mode, and we're going to move into the equation mode, which is number 6. So we'll select 6. And of 6, we now have 4 options for solving equations, and the one that we're going to select is 2 for quadratic equations. So we'll choose 2. And then we are asked to enter in the coefficients a, b, and c. And if the equation is set to standard form, as this one is, then we can easily enter in the a value, the b value, and the c value. So for the first quadratic equation, we have 4x squared plus 6x minus 29 is equal to 0. So a is equal to 4, so we'll enter in 4 for a. And b, we will enter in a value for 6. And c, we will enter in a value for negative 29. We don't need to enter in another value for a constant, because if the default setting is that it's equal to 0 for a constant. And so now we have the two roots, or the two solutions, and so we'll make a note of these. The solutions for this equation are that x is equal to 2.045. Let's round that off to 4 significant digits. And the other solution is that x is equal to negative 3.545. And both of these solutions will satisfy the quadratic equation above. Now let's take a look at solving some other quadratic equations. So I'm going to scroll down the page a little bit further. Let's solve 2x squared plus 5x is equal to 0. And again, our calculator is still set to quadratic mode, so all I need to do is to press the Enter key, and it will take me back to the original entry points. So in other words, I can now enter in a different value for a, b, and c. And so in this particular case, we've got 2x squared plus 5x is equal to 0. You will note here that with that second equation, we've got 2x squared plus 5x plus 0 is equal to 0. There is no c value. There's no constant here. So let's key in those values. A now has a value of 2, so I'll press 2 for A. B now has a new value of 5. We'll press 5 for B. And C has a value of 0, so we'll press 0 for C. And now we know that the two roots, or the two solutions for that second quadratic example, is that x1 solutions are that x is equal to 0 is one of the solutions, and x is equal to negative 2.5 is another solution. Let's carry on and see if we can solve the third example. In the third example, we've got to solve 9x squared minus 4 is equal to 0. Well, in this case, there is no x term, but there is a constant. So we've got 9x squared plus 0x minus 4 is equal to 0. So there's my a, b, and c values here. And now I can enter those into the calculator by just pressing in the enter button, because I'm still in the quadratic mode. So now I'm going to enter in a new value for a. A is now equal to 9, so I'll key in 9 for a. That's the squared term. There is no x term, so I'll press 0 and enter for the x term. And c has a value of negative 4, so I'll key in negative 4 and enter. And now we have our two solutions, and our solutions are x is equal to 0.66 repeating, which happens to be 2/3, and x is equal to negative 0.66 repeating, which is negative 2/3. So let's use the fraction form, 2/3, and the other one is negative 2/3. So those are our two roots.